and they did not want me there. It took abuse and just, it was like everything in their power to get me to quit.
This is Small Business Celebration, where we introduce you to successful small business owners at their place of business so that you can learn something that you can use today to grow a strong and profitable business and get your next big breakthrough. Welcome to another fantastic episode here on Small Business Celebration. We're going to be talking about when the right time is to sell your business and start a new one. We're also going to talk about how to maintain a competitive edge and keep up with the rapid pace of your competitors. And to guide us through that is Dana Healey, the owner of Warrior One Yoga. Welcome to Small Business Celebration.
Thank you so much.
And for Visioneers who don't know who you are you and what is it that you do?
Hi, I'm Dana Healey. I'm the owner of Warrior One Yoga. I'm a veteran, I'm a yoga teacher, and a lifelong resident of Bakersfield.
You're a veteran.
Yes.
And which branch of the military were you in?
I was active duty Army.
Oh, so you're the ones we root against in the Army-Navy game.
Don't make me come out with the Navy jokes, okay? Is this rated R?
Exactly. And how long were you in the military?
I was only in for 3 years, but I was a civilian contractor after that, so it equated to about 11 years in Iraq and Afghanistan, and Germany.
And Germany, that was the hard duty.
Yeah.
It was rough.
That was a good life.
And after a year's stint in Afghanistan and Iraq, and then later the hard stuff in Germany, why did you choose to open your own business when you came back?
I got my business degree, and I actually got my yoga certification in Thailand. This was
really?
And I kind of lied to get into the course. I did. I didn't know anything about yoga.
Right,
I just was a gym rat, and
Namaste. That was about it, right?
No, I don't even think I knew that. It was terrible.
Okay.
But I was like, I'm a soldier. I could do this. I could do anything. And then it was probably the second hardest thing I've ever done. I mean, it was 30 days. I called the instructors these. I was like, you guys are the yoga Nazis. They were so mean. They were like, again, you had to memorize the script. I mean, it was from 4 a.m. to 8 o'clock at night of just hell. Like yoga hell. Yeah, I'm at the end of the course, they said that even actors said it would be impossible to memorize that script in that time, the dialogue and whatnot. But it was just the stress of it. At the end, you end up, you come together. But yeah, I lied to get into it. You had to say you had been practicing yoga for 5 years, and a yoga studio had sent me a letter of recommendation. It was all made up.
Right.
And I get there, and it was so hard. Oh my God. I think I got voted most improved. Yeah, it was. And then I went back to Iraq, hurt my back after, I think it was maybe a year later or something. I can't remember the dates. And I had to go home. I avoided back surgery by doing yoga. I mean, it was a struggle. I still, on occasions, like, do you have back issues?
Some, yeah, a little bit of scoliosis. Yep.
So we're fine. And then out of nowhere, you throw your back out and you can't tie your shoes.
Right.
But most of the time, you're good.
Right.
So that's kind of like me. Like, I'm just hoping that I don't have like a flare up, and then I just do more yoga, and then it's pretty good. It's pretty good. But I avoided back surgery, so thank God.
But why did you choose to open your own business and not go work for somebody else?
I think that the entrepreneur spirit is in 4% of the world, right?
Right, sure.
You create jobs.
Right.
4% of the world are entrepreneurs, and it's probably something that is embedded in the few people that are entrepreneurs. You either grow up selling candy out of your backpack in high school, or you're just that natural leader, or you're a visionary. I mean, I'm sure, like you, constantly obsessing over different business ideas. Like,
no, never.
No? I stay awake at night like,
what kind of cameras do I need to get next? Let's see. Exactly.
Everyone's like, what are you up to now?
Right,
it's like,
exactly.
I'm just scheming something different every other day.
Sure,
I'm like, I'm a marketing genius. I'm constantly thinking of different things. I mean, and I've failed at a few things. I've also succeeded extremely high in other things too. But I mean, I guess that's what makes an entrepreneur. You're constantly taking the risk.
Right.
Calculated risk at times.
The Army must have been rough then.
Yeah. Do you remember the movie In the Army Now It's Only On? That was me. I was running and they handed me a grenade, and I'm like, why am I throwing a grenade? I'm logistics. It was horrible. I'm like, why is there a gas mask? I'm not infantry. It was a wake-up call. I'm like, and then I was 19 in Iraq, and I remember being so naive. I'm looking around with my weapon, and I'm like, I couldn't point you on the map where I was.
Right.
I didn't know what Iraq was, where we were at, why we were there. I'm just like, and now that I think about it, now I'm 41, they're giving weapons to children.
Right.
Like, it's so, yeah, you grow up real quick.
Right.
When you join the military, you suddenly become an adult in like a couple months. Like you better, or you're gonna die. You know what I mean? So it's an experience I think most people should do.
When you had the opportunity to start your yoga studio, Why did you choose Bakersfield?
Oh man, I could kill myself. Like I kick myself. So right now, I was in Texas. I flew my mom out there, and I was like, I'm gonna buy in Texas. It was this little condo. Well, you bought it, and it was it overlooked 8th Street in Austin, Texas.
Okay.
I think it was $300,000. I was signing on the dotted line. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. I'm leaving. This is where I'm gonna have my foothold, you know. And last minute, I'm looking at my mom, and I'm like, these are like, I've lost so many years. Like I just couldn't bring myself to live in another state. I was like,
this was home.
Yeah, so I thought I last minute pulled out a contract, and I flew to Bakersfield and said, let's make it happen here. You know what I mean? And so the reason why I say I kick myself is my friend tells me that same place is worth $1.4 million right now. I'm like, oh, why? Oh my God, I should have just bought it.
Right. If you only knew then what you know now.
I know, that's why I'm getting into real estate. But yeah, I did it because I just, have you ever been away from your family for a certain amount of time? Like a year or something? Yeah, oh yeah. And then after a year goes by, you see them, it's almost like they've aged. Like when you see someone every day, it's not the same effect. But when they're gone for a certain amount of time, you see them and you're like, oh, you kind of panic, like they're dying, they're leaving me. Like I need to be with them now. Like I got to cherish these moments.
Right.
So it's kind of like one of the major reasons why I came back. I just wanted to be with my family.
So walk me through that transition from when you came back to Bakersfield.
I wrote a business plan, found a location, negotiated, and made it happen.
That's simple. That's straightforward.
Yeah.
And how was your first opening like?
Well, I made it to where it was free for veterans.
Okay.
So that was, I think it was February 8th, and it was like the Veteran Day. And, you know, a lot of people don't know this, but my first real, like, big yoga class was in my own yoga studio.
Really?
Because I had been teaching soldiers and like contractors and whatnot in Iraq, but I had not really had, so I had to fake it till I made it.
Right.
And I'm sure I was like, I think I taught a 90-minute class in 30 minutes. I was like, feet together. I was just speed talking. I was nervous. I'm like, oh.
Right.
But now I'm a yoga school. I teach people to teach yoga.
Ah.
So I can't stress enough when I'm teaching people to teach yoga, like I've been through it, I know.
Right.
It's gonna be better with practice. Like.
Is your focus still veterans?
Yes, actually, I mean, on Monday, it's free all day long, 5 a.m., 9 a.m., 4 p.m., 5:15 p.m., and 6:45 at night for veterans and first responders. So please come out. It's free.
Does this help you with your experience in the war?
Yes, I think a lot of, do you have one of those Apple Watches that tells you to breathe? I can't tell you enough how much we just need to breathe, to be told to breathe. Like I created my own restorative class. I was not a very good restorative teacher. That's the teacher that's like, inhale, move as you breathe. Feel the essence of the room. I was a very militant teacher. Feet together, inhale, arms overhead. Move, squeeze your butt, go.
Right, sure.
So it took me years to realize that I needed to teach that breathing and that restorative class for myself.
Right.
Because I'm such a nutcase.
Right.
Like I'm so fight or flight and nervous to this day.
Right.
Because of life experiences overseas in the war zone and whatnot. Honestly, just taking my own class, just to breathe, to have an hour once a day to lay there, stop thinking about everything, get out of your head and just breathe. Listen to your Apple Watch. Because we don't. We literally sit here and hyperventilate all day.
As your business grew, you grew to multiple locations?
Yes.
Why?
You know what? I would love to tell the world that just because you got a bigger business doesn't mean you're going to make more money. I think when I really think about it, I broke even in the first year because I'm a hustler. Like I marketed. I mean, I got sick every 2 weeks. I think I had the flu because I was just obsessed over making sure I was going to make it in this world.
Right.
And I think that's what entrepreneurs do. We become very obsessive, like on winning. Same thing when I opened the big location. I think we made a lot of money, but I don't know if we were the net was there.
Right, sure.
I mean, I swear it was like, oh man, we made $85,000 this month.
Well, you grossed $85,000.
Yeah.
You netted 10.
And I'm like, yeah, well, that's great. Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, wow. In my little location in the beginning, I was making $20,000 a month.
Right.
But then sometimes I'd pull in 10. So I'm like, God, way more headache, same amount of money. And in California, it's a nightmare. So when I lost that location, I always laugh at the person who took over. I'm like, I bet her PG&E is $10,000 a month. Have fun with that. I'm over here like, thank God for my little location. We're only, which is funny because this PG&E could be anywhere from $15,000 to $4,000 a month.
Well, and that's the other part of it too, which is this is a hot yoga studio. So for visionaries who don't know the difference, what's the difference between standard yoga, as it were, and hot yoga?
Well, I like to call it cold yoga.
Okay, all right.
It's like going to the gym, you don't really sweat, and here you're going to sweat your butt off. We have infrared panels in the ceiling, which you can't really see because they're painted with glow paint.
Right.
And then we have 3 steamers that just pump out steam into the room, and then the heater pumps up to about 102. I honestly believe it's unsafe to go past 103. I've been in business for 11 years, and I've seen people pass out, drop out, get sick, throw up. For those of the people that want the 120, it's honestly not sustainable or healthy.
Especially for the instructors.
It's not. No, you feel like you're dying. You really do. And I mean, imagine you're at 120 degrees and you're doing jumping jacks for 30 minutes, for 45 minutes.
That sounds like
you're going to have a heart
Afghanistan.
attack. Yeah. Well, worse, you're going to have a heart attack.
Right.
Especially if the room is packed. There's lack of oxygen. I mean, I had the Condors in here the other day, and I thought I was dying with all of them sucking up
team,
yeah, the whole hockey team was just me and 25 men. I was like,
you can barely fit in here.
Oh my God, there was like a toe in everybody's face. It was like, I mean, we were all hyperventilating. Like it was a lake of sweat in here. It was gross. I mean, it was great. Thank you, Condor. But yeah, it's just too much. So we keep it at 102. It really and then there's also classes at 95. And you still sweat, you get a workout, you feel amazing, you burn more calories, it's great.
And as you work out and become in better shape, maybe you need to get a new home. And to do that, I suggest you call Mike Saba, a Zillow Premier Agent with Watson Realty. Born and raised and never left Bakersfield. Give Mike Saba a call at 661-203-8406 or reach him at mikesaba1@icloud.com today. And Visioneers, if you've got a question, you've got a thought, something you'd like to learn about here on Small Business Celebration, reach out to us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram, and your question could appear here on Small Business Celebration, just like Camilla's, who asked, how can I determine the optimal moment to sell my business and start a new venture? And you've got experience in doing this.
I loved it when you asked me that the other day because I immediately answered because I've been, and I got this from my ex-husband, who is this amazing business owner. I won't get into that, but you have this beautiful business plan and you invest all this money and you get to the peak of your business. And that's when you sell. You sell when you're at your height because you never think you're going to be at your lowest. Well, in my case, the pandemic hit and it just crushed me, and then lawsuits and whatnot. So, but I wish to this day I could have sold for $3 million. I'm sure it was, but it's also because of my extensive marketing and everything. And if anybody's looking to buy Warrior One right now, $500,000, it's yours. I mean, we've been in business for 11 years and it still makes money. So an established business, and as everybody knows, I mean, how much does it take to build out a business?
Right.
200, 300, 400,000. It's expensive in this world.
And when do you know when that pinnacle is?
Have you broke even? And are you making triple your money? It just depends on you. I mean, honestly, it's all about having a plan, I think. The exit strategy, as they'll say. I really didn't have an exit strategy. I think I was living the dream. Okay, so I have to say this too. A gym is like a nightclub.
Right.
You're eventually going to get phased out. The next big thing is going to phase you out. So you have to make your money, get to the peak, and just don't ever think that you're going to cruise on forever because your gym equipment's going to get old. You're just going to look like the next beach bunny down the street. Your stuff's going to, and it's so expensive to maintain these types of businesses. It's a grind, constantly selling your 12-week challenges.
So the first part is you start with the end in mind. You figure out what your exit plan's going to be.
Yeah. Like for me, I feel like I'm trying so hard to hold on to my baby. You know, like I think years ago, like a smart person would have sold, but I've created my business now that it runs itself. And now I could recreate, like I'm going to recreate this in Texas.
And that is when you know.
Yeah. And that's why I know exactly what to do now, the size of the business, just how to make it run itself. Because I mean, I was paying ridiculous amounts in payroll. And now I do it all myself and I have everybody do it kind of for me. There's lots of different techniques you can do to make sure that you don't go under and that you actually make money.
And having a business that is able to run itself allows you to become friends with people like Karen Boyd.
I know, I love her. She's one of my favorite people.
And she recommended you to us. And how do you and Karen know each other?
So I met her through the Bucket List Bunnies.
Right.
It's like this amazing club. So, you know, everybody has their bucket list, which mine is to go to Germany, so I keep waiting for them to draw mine out, but I don't know who's coming. So I'm hoping we'll be on the Viking River cruise in Germany for Christmas markets. Have you ever heard of that?
Sure.
Oh, yes, we should all go.
That's all fun.
But yeah, Karen is so amazing. She's like, I call her like the party planner of Bakersfield.
Yeah.
She's like the person to know. Like if you want to make your party happen, you call Karen Boat.
There are many women who don't look at the military as the first option out of high school. Why was it for you?
I didn't get the best grades, and we didn't have really any money growing up, so it wasn't like, I was so scared senior year, like, what am I going to do with my life?
Right.
And I remember this soldier came into my English class, started talking about the military. She said, you know, you're going to pay for college, you can go to Germany, you can travel the world, you're going to be a U.S. soldier. And I was like, oh my God, this is my way out.
Sign me up.
Like, I really believe that kids nowadays don't ever want to leave home. No, my parents were just like, I couldn't wait to get the hell out of the house. That's how it was in my day. Like, you know, you had to be kind of mean to your kids so that they would want to leave. Otherwise, failure to launch, right? They don't leave. They will stay at your house forever. So I just couldn't wait. And it's funny, when I joined the military, I remember my mom like chasing me, like, you're leaving? And I'm like, I'm out of here. I didn't even tell anybody. I just signed up and I left, and I was back in a couple years. And then went straight to Iraq. I didn't sign up for this. Yeah. But yeah, it was the best thing I ever did. I mean, it was also traumatic and horrible. Like the men, I mean, it was really horrible the way the men treated women. I mean, I had an officer spit in my face. Like, they would grab you. I've been assaulted. But it makes you grow up real quick. I feel like I've done a lot for women in general. Like, I was the first woman to ever work for Blackwater Aviation. When that was a struggle too, they were cruel to me. Like when I got my first job overseas, you know, the only reason why I got it is because I kept calling until I got the right number, and they were like, would you stop? Listen, I'm the next best thing to sliced bread. And they were like, God. So they finally had to give me the job, and they put my name in as this Mr. Dana Healey. Yeah, they wouldn't hire women. So when I got there, they were like looking for Mr. Dana Healey, and I'm like, hi, I'm here. And they were like, and they did not want me there. It took abuse, and it was like everything in their power to get me to quit. Even when I was with Blackwater, oh my God. I remember going down the driving range where we're shooting, and the instructor was walking in front of my live weapon just to get me to flinch and freak out. He'd walk in front of me as I'm firing, and I would be like, and he's just like, oh, all right, good form. And I'm like, what the? And later I see this same instructor, I see him later in Iraq, and he was like, oh yeah, we did everything we could to try to get you to fail. We don't want women over there. And I'm like, God, the stuff you guys do to us. Like, so, but I never gave up through all the abuse and everything. I just held my own and did my job and stayed in my lane. And I thank God for that. And I think I was blessed because I always did my job, and I didn't let anybody hold me back. And that's why I'm here.
And that brings us to the Visioneer Game. Now, Visioneers, if you're not familiar with the way the game works, I have a random word generator here on my phone. I have no idea what words this word generator is going to create, but more importantly, neither does our guest. And our guest has to take each of 3 words that I give her and somehow associate each word with her business. Now, you do realize that the fate of all yoga studios, more importantly, all hot yoga studios throughout the known universe, are going to be based upon your ability to get these 3 words right.
Okay.
If you don't, they're doomed forever. Oh. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Your first word is patient.
Patient? We're all a patient until we come to hot yoga and we cure ourselves. Hey.
Nice. First word's correct. 1 for 1. Okay. Your second word is fashion.
Fashion? It's not a fashion statement. Just come in here with your yoga pants on. No Speedo. No Speedo. Yoga pants, sports bra.
Well, that's 2 for 2. Well done, you. Okay, and your third word is intensify.
Intensify your practice by taking a harder class.
Nice. 3 for 3. The world of hot yoga is safe at last. Congratulations.
Namaste.
Speaking of intensify, you had an interesting bout with a contractor in your travels. What happened?
So I actually dated this guy who at one point came to me and said, well, do you want to make a buttload of money? And I said, yeah, of course I do.
I'm an entrepreneur, sure.
Oh, sure. And he told me that if I was 51% owner of a construction company, then the government would automatically award us contracts.
Oh, women-owned business.
Women-owned, but disabled veteran-owned. So I'm 100% disabled veteran.
Okay.
So we did that. We actually bought 2 water trucks. We were on CAL FIRE, got CAL FIRE certified. I can even drive the water truck. I got my license. What push come to shove, he took all the money. And then eventually I tried to sue him, and he did it to another veteran. And I filed and I actually went to court. And it was really hard because the judge was very biased. I mean, I was on the stand he was on the stand texting his counterparts, and the judge didn't even say anything. And then when I get up there, they're just like, oh, woman contractor. Like, they completely ignored me. And then my friend Lee Anderson, who was the next business owner, another combat veteran, he did the same thing. Jake Taney did the same thing to Lee Anderson. Months later, the judge rewarded us all just to part ways. Then the State Department came down and rained on him. He now is not allowed to contract in any state in America, and he was fined a certain amount of money. So he should never work again in the United States for about the next 10 years for taking advantage of multiple disabled veterans. We're talking millions of dollars. He took all of the money.
What did you learn from this?
You know, no one's going to run your business like you. You know, it's a grind, you know.
Right.
And
how has this situation guided you into other industries? Because you're looking at getting into real estate.
yeah, I actually I purchased a house which is down the street from here, and I call it the Zen Den.
Yeah.
It's a really, really cool. It's like the yoga experience. I mean, it's you have to go. It's like a little resort in Bakersfield. I mean, you can fit like 50 people in the backyard, spa, pool, tiki bar, coffee bar, robes, all the amenities. It's so cute, and I love it. So I already have the stream of income through Warrior One, right? And then I get my disability money. And then I have a couple other side hustles. And then, so I think what it's taught me is not just to have all your eggs in one basket. 7 streams of income.
Got it.
So now I'm branching off into opening a spa, going into real estate development, and not just focusing so much on one thing. So that, and besides that, don't go into business with anyone. I don't care what anybody says. I refuse to go into business with anyone.
Right.
And at all costs, try to stay out of lawsuits, out of litigation. It's, once again, the only people that win are the attorneys.
It's not very often that the business owner has their own picture or their own image as their logo. Why did you choose to do that?
I have to give the credit to my ex-husband's brother. He was one of the artists for the anatomy drawings in Harvard University books.
Okay.
Reached out to him and asked him if he could draw me with my little rose tattoo and some cami leggings in the Warrior One yoga pose. And the idea behind it was warrior, and we're number 1. Funny thing is, I was like, oh, that's the most common yoga pose, Warrior One.
Right.
And I'm just thinking Warrior One. And then I trademarked it too. I trademarked one of the most common yoga names or poses. And so I got him to draw me. So there's been various different versions of that, but it's always been me with my rose tattoo and the cami pants. And what you see now is like the 10th version, due to different marketing teams have told me, we need to dial it back. We need to change your hair. We need to do this. And so that the product that you see now is about 10 revisions.
What marketing has made Warrior One stand out?
We market to every shape, size, color, gender, everyone. About 11 years ago, yoga, I feel like I brought yoga to this town. It was predominantly your little 85-pound blonde cheerleader that did yoga. You know what I mean? That was the stereotype. Right. And I marketed heavily to everyone. Not as much men, because there's really not a lot of market, especially in this town. Maybe in LA, but not in Bakersfield. It's the years that I've marketed. I've probably spent $1 million on marketing in the last 11 years. In the beginning, it was aggressive Facebook marketing. And I don't really believe so much in social media at the moment, because it's just, I have a lot of friends that own big yoga studios throughout California and a few other states, and I've consulted with them. I'm like, is it dead? Is it working? And he's like, the glory years are over from just doing one Facebook ad and you seeing 20 people in a day. Right. I mean, I still market. I probably spend $1,500 a month on marketing Facebook and Instagram, and it's just, it's just nothing in comparison to what it was 7 years ago. What I do think is kind of making a comeback is like visual marketing.
Right.
You know, getting out there, making a billboard, putting signs out, and talking to people.
Whoa, talking to people?
Yeah,
Weird.
Yes, I'm telling you, getting out there, going to events, just giving out a free week. Social media, I think, is a little bit dead in the fitness industry.
And that brings us to our second Visioneer question, which is also brought to you by Mike Saba, Zillow Premier Agent with Watson Realty, selling Bakersfield homes since 1992. Give Mike Saba a call at 661-203-8406 or reach him at mikesaba1@icloud.com today. This Visioneer question comes from Fabian, who asks, how can I transform my business once more to maintain a competitive edge, and how do I keep up with this rapid pace? Because that's what you're in here in the yoga industry.
I think you have to do an analysis of your business. Is it worth it? Is the competition too high? For me, the market is saturated. It seems like everyone's copied me and opened up their little version of mine down the street. And I do feel a little burned out, but I also have a good client base, and I love what I do. I still have that. There was a moment there where I lost the passion.
Right.
And if you don't have the passion, then maybe you should move on. But one of the things to stay competitive is to constantly follow the trends. So just like a nightclub, I would love to use the comparison with a nightclub. I mean, you're eventually going to be phased out. You're going to have to redo like how many nightclubs do you know that they change the name every 3 years?
Right.
Because you need to be the new, best, shiny thing.
Right.
And it's the same thing in the fitness industry. You get eventually phased out. Another business opens down the street. It's prettier, it's shinier, it's a bigger studio, it has different things. So what I do is I try to follow the trends. I'm like, I mean, it wasn't the greatest idea, but I spent $30,000 on vibration plates, and I had this idea, like, I'm gonna have vibration yoga classes.
Okay.
There was a time that I bought a bunch of fitness poles, which are like,
The brass poles?
yeah. Yeah, I know. That was another $15,000 investment. I was convinced that we would be a pole fitness yoga studio.
Right.
I'm constantly buying stuff and trying to stay competitive.
Right.
Right now we've added another really fun dance class, dance with yoga.
Nice.
Like we buy more humidification machines. We do different marketing. Like, just try to follow the trends. Try to stay up on it because you're just eventually going to get phased out.
What is a trend that you started that everybody else is following?
Butt lift hot yoga.
I'll bite. What is that?
It's ankle weights, booty bands. It's just incorporating weights with a lot of lower body exercises. We also do myofascial rollout and focus like on the lower body. It's really fun. Like I was talking to your producer before, when I first got into yoga, I only did the bodybuilding, so I was convinced that I was going to have this little tiny yoga body with no butt.
Right.
So I bought a bunch of leather ankle weights and a whole bunch of weights, and I created these different weight-bearing yoga classes.
Right.
And it took off. I mean, people love it. They do.
Okay, so you've got all these vibrating plates and brass poles and who knows whatever else that you've bought along the way that didn't work. Are they all over the Salvation Army now, or a recycling center, or where are they?
No, didn't I tell you I was a hustler on the side? That's
Sure.
that's my side hustle. No, I'd sell it. I either trade it, or these things were like $3,000 a piece. So.
Right.
I trade with everybody in this town. I mean, there's not much I pay for anymore. Right. So I'm like, I got this $3,000 vibration plate. How about you trade me for some neurofeedback?
Right, sure, right.
So I mean, at this time, I had 11 of them. I have 3 left. So I've sold them. You have to be willing to let go of some things for half the price, but I mean, that's the cost of doing business.
It's no secret that there's a lot of business owners that are struggling right now. Mm-hmm. What do you say to the business owner that is having a rough time, and how do you inspire them and let them know that the American dream isn't dead?
I think the American dream is only dead if you believe it's dead. I believe in words of affirmation and manifestation, and if you can dream it, you can make it happen. It's just the most successful people in the whole world is about mindset. So if you can get yourself there mentally, you can get yourself there physically.
Dana, this has been a real treat. Thank you for joining us here on Small Business Celebration.
Thank you.
And if Visioneers want to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
You can reach me you can text or call at 661-873-3261, or go on our website at warrior1yoga.com.
That's Warrior One?
The number 1. Or follow us on Facebook or Instagram. Just give us a call.
And we'll be right back with my final thought, the secret of Socrates. The secret of Socrates. Not that long ago, I was hired as a lighting designer for a Hollywood party for a nonprofit gala, and the nonprofit reimburses private pilots who fly out to rural America, pick up medical patients, fly them to Los Angeles, where those patients can get life-extending medical care that they normally would not be able to get at their regional hospitals. And I arrived a little bit early to this production meeting, and the committee members that were head of this gala were in a very heated discussion. They were discussing color. Now, if you're not familiar with the way these events work, the colors for a gala are incredibly important. It's what unifies the lighting, the video, the set decorations, the table decorations, the flowers, the program, and on and on and on and on. And choosing the color scheme is incredibly important. And this discussion among the committee members was getting more and more heated. They were talking about blacks and whites and silvers and chromes and golds and bronze and brass and brown and amber and magenta and puce and kumquat and avocado, and the list was just going on, and there was absolutely zero consensus being made. But noticeably absent from this entire conversation was the chair of the committee. And when the discussion got to a full boil, she very quietly, very maturely, asked a very simple question. She asked, "We have a major Hollywood actor who's getting our top award at the gala." To which the committee members said, yes, 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 yes. And she asked, "He also has flown for our organization numerous missions and numerous flights and has never asked for a penny to be reimbursed, has he not?" And they all agreed, well, yes, that's true. And she paused for a moment and thought, aren't the colors of his airplane kind of a medium rose and teal with silver accents? And the committee members thought and went, well, yeah. And then she asked, shouldn't the color scheme be the same as the plane of our top recipient? And you could hear a pin drop as the other committee members nodded and thought, yeah, they should be. To which the chair looked at the rest of us who had arrived for the meeting. She said, I believe we have our color scheme. As the committee meeting continued on and all the other conversations were had, I began to smile. For the committee member in her maturity had gotten the other committee members to start saying yes immediately. And in doing so, she took their yes and led it to another yes, led it to another yes, which led them to her way of thinking, the method also known as the secret of Socrates. I hope you enjoyed our conversation this week here on Small Business Celebration, and I hope you learned something that you can use today to grow a strong and profitable business. And we'll see you here again next week when we celebrate another small business making a big breakthrough.
Why you should do hot yoga? How much did you drink last night? Do you want to sweat it out on Saturday? It's really great. I promise you. No, I mean, yoga systematically lengthens and strengthens the muscles. And then in cooperation with the infrared heat, I mean, it's a win-win. You sweat it out, you burn the calories, you feel amazing, you breathe. You literally take the stress away from the day. I mean, why not? Do hot yoga in the morning, evening, and afternoon. Don't do it all at the same time. 3 times a day and you're gonna fall out, because I know, because I do it 3 times a day and it's not, yeah, there you'll be dragging your right leg behind you. You need to take 3 liquid IVs a day, 1 class a day, and you're good. But realistically, 3 times a week, you're gonna see real improvement. 3 times a week. Other than that, you're just kind of, you're not, it's good, but you're not improving. It's practice, 3 times a week. The number one thing to not wear at a yoga studio or a hot yoga class, first of all, wear clothes. Second of all, keep the Speedo at home. Okay, this is not Europe. Nobody wants to see that. Don't come in sweats. Are you trying to die? Why? We've had people come in like 3-piece outfits and it's 110 and they just pass out on the floor. Don't do that. Don't be that person. So, do you like throwing up? Don't eat before hot yoga. Okay? Unless you're trying for that effect. I've seen people before suddenly sprinting to the bathroom as they've had like an Egg McMuffin and they're doing a yoga class and then it's coming out. So please eat maybe a little bit of protein shake before so you don't pass out, or a little bit of candy because sometimes low blood sugars, I've seen people black out, and eat afterwards. Otherwise, it's not cute. I feel like hot yoga is harder than Pilates. Like I've gone to Pilates classes and I'm like, wow, everybody's so cute with their makeup and their perfect hair. Like, did we burn any calories in here? So please, hot yoga if you're looking for a better workout, if you're looking to look cute and like get a really good stretch and maybe half the workout, Pilates. I'm sorry, I said it, don't hate me. A yoga teacher can teach probably anywhere from 1 to 3 a day, but honestly, it depends on the person. Is it hot? Are you teaching or are you demonstrating? Are you standing there looking cute, barking out orders? Or are you in it, doing jumping jacks in 105 degrees heat for an hour? It's not sustainable. And I've done this for 11 years and I find that I've injured myself. I know more yoga teachers that have hip replacements because they're overdoing it. Stick to 1 class a day. The 3 things you need to bring to a hot yoga class is yourself. It's hard to show up, right? That's the first thing, just get out the door. Water, you don't need to bring a yoga mat. We have we have thick mats here. Yoga pants, yoga pants. Oh, because you sweat and you're sliding all over the place. I mean, I don't understand why guys are in here in their Speedos. I mean, first of all, no one wants to see that. So I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But yeah, the more naked you are, you're sweating, you're sliding all over the place. Yoga pants, traction.